So I can't explain some of the things that happen in this story, but this really happened. My wife is from the islands of Indonesia, which is why, after we were married, rather than take her to Hawaii for the honeymoon, which would be like going to her own backyard, I thought it'd be a good idea to take her on a road trip from California to the fine state of Missouri, which is where my family owns a small cabin on a beautiful green river in the middle of the Ozarks. Well, two things went wrong. The first, my wife became sick immediately, and by the time we rolled into that cabin on the river, she had a terrible fever. Second, when I threw open that front door, out gushed water. Thousands of gallons of river water. And thousands more were trapped inside, probably from a recent flood that I didn't know about. Well, I rolled up my pants, and I waded in to see about draining the house somehow. And then I stopped. I heard a splash, and through the gloom, I caught the luminous glow of white foam on the crest of a wake being made by something as it swam beneath the surface. Something big was swimming in slow, deliberate circles in the house. Instinctively, I backed out. And I did the only thing I could think of to do, which was go find a friend of the family. He's a former Marine. He owns the local bar. His name is Booby. This next scene is like out of some goddamn horror movie. There we were, in my house, in the water. Booby was wading this way, and I was wading that way, and stretched between us was a big net. And at first it looked like it was gonna work, because I'll be damned if that thing didn't turn and start coming right down the middle of that net. That's when the third thing went wrong. I lost my footing, and I went down in the water with the thing. And I rolled over on my knees and I raked that muddy water from my eyes so I'd be ready to deal with whatever was happening. And three things were happening. One of them, the thing started to rise up out of the water. A giant log of flesh, slick and striped like the body of a snake, but swollen and bloated from some mysterious expansion within. A howling noise filled the room. Whee! The second thing was my new bride. She wondered what was taking us so long, and she came tottering down the stairs in the back of the room. Well, the magnitude of this situation was a bit overwhelming to her in her fevered state, and she just kind of crumpled and toppled in the water. And I surged through it to go see if I could be of some assistance. The third thing was Booby. At first, I didn't even know where he was. Then I caught him in the beam of my flashlight. He was up on top of my grandmother's pie safe. He was in this crouched position that only a Marine can do. And in his hands was a big black commando knife. And then he was over it and down on it, and he pushed that knife into it and he gave it a twist. Bam! Explosion! And a gritty mist filled the room. Now, if you go to Booby's bar, there's a photograph hanging on the wall. And in that photograph, there's me and there's Booby. And wedged between us is my new bride. And draped from our arms is what Booby will tell you is an enormous catfish he caught with his bare hands and killed with a knife in my house. But the beard on every farmer in that bar will begin to bounce. Yeah, up and down. Yeah, 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 as they hear him say that. Because every farmer in that bar knows that isn't a catfish that's hanging from our hands. That's nothing but an ordinary household vacuum cleaner. It had been left plugged in. When the water came up, something floated by and bumped it on. It had been going in circles, sucking water in, building pressure up for God knows how long, till Booby burst it with his knife. I don't know how we weren't electrocuted. Well, I still owe my wife a honeymoon. And every month, every day that passes, the pressure builds for me to take her where she has, in fact, always wanted to go. And that would be Hawaii. Thank you.